very windy again. Wind has just been howling all day, but it's actually starting to lay down. It's 3:45, and it's supposed to by 6 be down to 5 miles an hour, so I hope that's the case. It's straight north wind right now, which is much better than it was last night for this bait. I probably stayed here longer than I should have last night, but I just kept hoping that it would lay down at sunset, and it did not. So I hope I didn't do any long-term serious damage to this bait, but we got multiple bears here that are hitting it all the time, day and night, so there's always a chance. We got a lot more bears on baits now. You know, we've got one since the beginning that we've had a very killable, nice 200-pound male that's been on bait every single evening. I could have killed him every day, but Brian just really wants to save him for his son, who has never shot a bear before. And he says, I don't care, I don't need a big one, I'll shoot a small one. Well, we got plenty of small ones that he could shoot, but Brian's pretty adamant that he wants to save that bear for his son, and I'm fine with that. It's, you know, he's never shot a bear before, so I'll take my chances here. And we've got multiple other bears, including a sow with cubs, and we got several yearlings on baits that are very killable. But I'm really hoping there's a big one on this bait. It's a bit of a long shot, but that's why I'm here. So we got 2 other guys coming in tonight, and they'll be hunting tomorrow, and I really would like to fill this tag now so I can concentrate. 2 reasons: I could concentrate on helping those guys get their bears, and then the other thing is there's 80 to 90% chance of showers for the next 4 days after today. So we're going to settle in here for a long sit and hope this wind dies down. You can screw that up any worse than I just did. I saw the black coming through the bushes over there, and I switched on the GoPro, and I also switched on my main camera. But then he looked right at me, and I didn't have a chance to push play on the main camera. And then he came right to the bait. He just rolled right in like he wasn't afraid at all. And then I just completely forgot about pushing play on the main camera. Got my bow off the hanger. He turned broadside, and I drew. And when I drew, he got a whiff of me because the wind is blowing right towards the bait. He got a whiff of me, and so he went right back behind the bait, and he sat there for a few minutes. And all this time I'm filming him with the main camera that's not even on. It's on, but not recording. And I don't know if I got any of it on this GoPro I'm talking into right now. So after a little bit, I mean, he's winding me, his nose is going up in the air. He steps back to the bait, so I draw. I had to let down, of course, so I drew again. And when I drew again, the arrow, the knock fell off the string, and the arrow hit the stand and clattered to the ground, and he just bolted out of here. Are you serious right now? I told The other bear looks like he's maybe like a 200-pounder. Do I shoot the 200-pound sow or the 200-pound male? Or just whichever one I get a chance at? And then I missed. And my last arrow.
Jay, I was videoing Bernie.
I almost hit a bull moose, and then I got hit by a cow moose. So I hope my door isn't dented in too bad where she hit me, but I can't tell in the dark.
The story gets more interesting.
Oh,
All right.
That's a small part of it, and the moose is a small part of it. I actually almost ran out of arrows tonight, and I did not get a bear. So
You're kidding.
You want to hear the whole story? Because it's going to take a while.
Okay.
No, not. Oh.
Okay. So the first thing was about,
Whatever you do it.
I don't know, 8:15 or so, the big one came in.
The big one.
The
300 pounder?
Yeah.
How big do you think it was?
It was pushing 300 pounds. He came in and came to the bait, and my wind was blowing right at the bait. So I drew my bow. He was nice and broadside, and then he smelled me, took off.
CJ, well, you got to be ready.
And
See
then
what I mean?
what he did was he came in behind the bait, and he sat there and was sniffing me. Okay. Well, sometimes when you let your bow down, your knot comes loose a little bit, just enough, and so he eventually came back to the bait again.
Oh, no.
I drew my bow, and the arrow fell off and clanked and hit the stand, and he's gone.
I'm not supposed to laugh, Bernie.
Oh, this gets way worse.
I'm not laughing, Bernie.
I mean, so I'm thinking, okay, there's a chance this bear might come back because I got him over an hour before dark, okay? But this bear has been chasing this sow back and forth. We got all these pictures on trail camera of this bear, this big one and the sow chasing each other. So I'm thinking the best thing that could happen to me would be if this sow comes in and she's at the bait, and then maybe he'll see her there, smell her there, and come back. Well, a little while later, I hear the teeth popping and the chuffing back in the trees, and I'm like, okay, good. Here comes the sow. So all of a sudden, I could see the two of them back in there, just black, two blobs of black, and then she walks in, and it's not the sow, it's a huge sow. And like yesterday when I looked at the pictures, I was looking at that sow going, gee, she looks really big in this picture. Then her face looks a little bit different, Well, it turns out it's not the same sow. So I saw 4 bears tonight, and only one of them was the original 4. And that was the big one that came in first. So anyway, this huge sow comes in. I'm like, that's a big sow. She's well over 200 pounds. And the other bear just kept circling around. Well, pretty soon he walked through an opening, and I'm like, that's not the same bear that was here a little while ago. That's a smaller bear. So now we're at 3 bears. And this bear just kept going around, and then one time she just chased him off, and they were gone for a while. And then she came back.
Were they popping and stuff, making
yeah,
vocal noises?
Fighting and popping.
Did you get on video?
I got a lot of video, yeah. He came around, and he was over here, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to shoot him if I get a chance. Okay, well, then he stepped out.
How big was he?
He was 200-ish, maybe a little more. So he stepped out right there and looked up at me, and
how close was he? Was he at the bait, or?
He was halfway between me and the bait, so it was 8 yards.
Ooh.
And she's standing there broadside, so I'm thinking, you know what? I mean, I got a bird in hand, and he's just working around. I'm just going to go ahead, and she's big. I'm going to shoot her. So I draw, and when I came to full draw, the lighted knock came out of the end of the arrow, and that arrow clanked on the stand and went to the ground.
This is 2 different arrows.
Oh, yeah. So I'm down to 2 now out of 4. Well, she didn't run off. She just looked up, and she stayed there for quite a while. And then, when you trim that, when you stand up, there's one limb that's just above your head, and the spruce kind of hang down. I didn't think it was ever going to be a big deal.
Yep.
Turns out it was a big deal.
Oh, we got a third story.
She finally gives me another shot. She's nice and broadside, and I draw my bow, and when I shoot, I'm like, something's wrong. Something went wrong when I shot, and the arrow went, and I couldn't tell if it hit her in the bottom of the belly or just went through the long fur that they have this time of the year, but it was a bad shot. And I look at my bow, and there is a twig, those little green twigs of spruce stuck between the wheel and the string.
Ooh.
Bernie, you're kidding.
No.
This is 3 arrows.
She runs off. I got 1 arrow left. She takes off, and the other bear comes. Then he comes back in, and he just lays down there because she's gone now.
Now, what bear is this now? We got another
This is
bear.
that 200-pounder,
The male.
the male that had been circling around.
So he's on the bait now.
So he's on the bait.
1 arrow.
And he's laying there, facing right toward. And this is the arrow that I shot at the sow that went through her. Turns out, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm looking at him going, that's a pretty nice bear. And I took my camera and I rolled back the shot. Twice I looked at the shot of this sow and I'm like, I can't tell if that hit her or not.
Oh, because you don't know if you could shoot another bear and you'll have 2 dead bears.
I'm thinking if I shoot him and then I go down there and there's blood on this other arrow, then what do I do?
Yeah.
Saying?
Right.
So finally, it was like 10 minutes before dark, and he's still right there. And, I mean, he's a really nice bear. He's got a beautiful pelt on him, and I'm just going, I can't shoot him. So I just start packing my cameras and everything like that, put my backpack on, grab my bow, turn around, and the sow walks in.
The same one.
Same one. She walks in and chases him off.
Oh, you're kidding.
Not kidding. Absolutely not kidding. Ooh. And by this time, of course, I got all my stuff packed up, and I'm like, you know what? And I started climbing down, and she literally watched me get halfway to the ground before she left. And so I went over and checked the arrow, and there's no blood on the arrow. And I pulled the card out of the camera, because a lot of this has got to be on the trail camera, you know. And then when I finally got back to the truck, I started heading down, and I only went about a mile, and this bull moose is in the road in front of me. And they just run down the road in front of you. And I slowed way down, and he turned and went into bushes. And then as I was about to go by him, he jumps back out of the bushes and just misses my front bumper by 6 feet. And runs down the road in front of me a ways, and finally I just backed way off, and he went into the bushes. Well, then I get to number about 24, 25, and I almost hit a bear in the road. And then all of a sudden there's a cow moose in the road in front of me, and she's running down the road. And so I slowed way down, and then she went into the bushes, and I sped up to go by her, and she jumped out of the bushes and crashed into the side of my truck.
She hit your truck. She physically hit your truck.
She hit my truck. I don't know if she broke my mirror off or dented my door. I'll have to go out there and look and see in the daylight. But
this is kind of hard to believe, all this, Bernie. I mean, all your life you've been doing this, and this is incredible.
Bizarre, absolutely bizarre night of bear hunting that I've ever had in my life, and I've hunted bears a lot. So, yeah.
Looks like you got a trophy for the wall. You got a trophy for the wall.
What do you have for arrows left?
I got 1 arrow left, but I mean,
Do you have your other knocks and your other ones? Can you put them back together?
I could put them back together.
But did you get the knocks? I mean, there's
the knocks, yeah. Yeah, one of them I found, and the other one was still stuck to the string, of course, because when it pulled out.
You're lucky the boat didn't derail. You know, when
they're real small, like sprigs of
right.
But I know
but
I've had
sometimes you get that twig in there, and
it doesn't take much to derail it.
Not when you're full draw, because you're only holding 6-7 pounds. It doesn't take a lot to flip that off. Huh.
Bernie, this is a story it's hard to believe.
Yeah,
I mean,
got most of it on video, so.
Wow. That's going to take a while to digest this.
So
this is
like, you don't know me. You guys have just beat me. It's usually not like this. I'm actually a pretty normal guy most of the time.
Well, you got good penetration through your log here. I'm not the anatomy hunter, but I'm telling you got good penetration.
Looks like a 3-pounder.
I think you got the lumps. I think that's the lumps.
I'd say it's almost a pass-through.
Yeah.